Hello kids! Today we're going to learn about time signature. 2-4, 3-4, 4-4, and 6-8. Lesson 1. Time signature 2-4. What I need to know. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to number 1. Identify the value of notes and rest in 2-4 time signature. 2. Create a measure in 2-4 time signature and apply the counting pattern through hand clapping. Are you ready? What I know. Let's check your prior knowledge of our lesson today. Write the value of beat below each note and rest in time signature. The picture shows a 2-4 time signature. Half note receives 2 beats. 8 note receives 1 half beat. Quarter rest receive 1 beat. Quarter note receives 1 beat. Another quarter rest receives 1 beat. Quarter note 1 beat. And another quarter notes with 1 beat. What's in? In your previous lesson, you learned the different kinds of notes and rest and their corresponding number of beats. In this lesson, you will learn the basic units of time in music. Specifically, what are the values of the notes and rest in 2-4 time signature. Now let's move to what's in. Beat is the most basic unit of time in music. It is used to measure and regulate the duration of individual tone. It also serves as a guide in combining notes of varied duration. Each tone may be equal to 1 beat. Some tones may be equal to several beats or just a fraction of a beat. Rhythm is the movement of sound with accented and unaccented beats in a musical composition. The strong beat, which is stressed or accented, is represented by the symbol, and the weak beat, which is stressed or unaccented, has no symbol used. What is a time signature? Time signatures refers to a fraction-like number written at the beginning of the staff. Below each note and rest is the value or the number of beats. The illustrations show a 2-4 time signature. Let's study the value of each note. For quarter note, the value or number of beats is 1. In the first measure, we have 2 quarter notes. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 beats. In the second measure, we have 8 note. 8 note receives 1 half beat. 1 half plus 1 half is equal to 1 plus quarter note with 1 beat. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 beats. In the third measure, we have 8 notes. 1 half plus 1 half is equal to 1. Another 1 half plus 1 half is equal to 1, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 beats. The counting pattern in 2/4 time signature will be 1, 2, 1 and 2 or 1 and 2 and. To emphasize the counting pattern in 2/4 time signature, you can also use hand clapping. The illustrations show a 2/4 time signature. Now, let's find out the value or number of beat and the counting pattern. For quarter note, we have 1 beat. For 8 note, we have 1/2 beat. Now, let's find out the counting pattern. 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2. Now let's do the clapping. 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2. Did you get it? What does 2/4 time signature mean? You have noticed that after the 2 counts, there is a line dividing every 2 beats, and that's what we call a bar line. By putting a bar line, we can form a measure. In every measure, you can see that it consists of 2 beats. That is the meaning of the upper number 2 in a time signature. Quarter note receives 1 beat. 2 quarter notes is equal to 2 beats. 8 note receives 1/2 beat. 2 8 note is equal to 1 beat plus another 1 beat is equal to 2 beats. 4 8 notes is equal to 2 beats. As you can see, in each measure, there is 2 beats. What do you mean by the number below number 2, which is 4? We will go back to the value of the notes. This illustration shows the number of beats in each note and rests. What note or rest receives 1 beat? In this table, you will see that quarter note or rest receives 1 beat. That's the lower number 4 means in the time signature. Bear it in your mind that the number below in a time signature tells you what note or rest receives 1 beat. In time signature, the lower number is 4. It means quarter note or rest receives 1 beat. Study the song Sa Aming Bayan in What's More. Directions. Analyze the part of the song entitled Sa Aming Bayan. Give the value of each note or rest and put the counting pattern below and do the hand clapping. The value or number of beat of each note is, for 8 note, we have 1/2 beat. And for half note, we have 2 beats. Counting pattern. For the first measure, we have 1 and 2 and. Next, we have 1 and 2 and. Third, we have 1 and 2 and. And the last measure is 1, 2. Now let's do the clapping. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2. Now, let's check of how much you have learned from our lesson. Draw the missing note in the blank to complete each measure and give its value. Apply hand clapping to emphasize the counting pattern. In the first measure, the missing note is 8 note that receives 1/2 beat. In the second measure, the missing note is quarter note that receives 1 beat. In the third measure, the missing note is 2 8 note that receives 1/2 beat, a total of 1 beat. In the last measure, the missing note is quarter note that receives 1 beat. Draw the symbol of rest in the blank to complete every measure and give its value. Apply hand clapping to emphasize the counting pattern. The missing note in the second measure is 8 note that receives 1/2 beat. In the third measure, the missing note is 8 note receives 1/2 beat. And the last measure, the missing note is quarter note that receives 1 beat. Pattern is 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2. Now let's do the hand clapping. 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 1, 2. Go to what I can do. Group the notes and rest according to time signature by putting a bar line to create a measure and put the number of beats below. Apply the counting pattern through hand clapping. Now let's do the hand clapping. 1, 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2. Can you do the counting pattern through hand clapping alone? Good job!